You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello there. Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you for joining for another episode of Locked On Baylor. I am your host, Cam Stewart. Thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. Today, we are brought to you by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. And what a weekend it was for the Baylor Bears on the basketball court. A sweep, both the men and the women getting big Big 12 victories. And of course, the highlight of it is yesterday's, where I'll start, at the Foster Pavilion. The best player ever to put on a Baylor basketball uniform coming home, Brittney Griner, to get her number retired. I've got the shirt on. I've got, if you're watching on YouTube, the poster behind me, which I didn't realize until after the remodel that I completely cover it by where I sit, but know that it is there. And just a fantastic day. Bears do get a pretty lopsided win over the Texas Tech Red Raiders, although they really let them back into the game in the fourth quarter, let up 14 points to take it 61-32. But of course, the headlines and everything was around the pregame festivities, and honestly didn't know kind of how it was going to go. Obviously, I didn't think a lot of the Brittney detractors were going to make their way to Foster Pavilion and boo her or anything like that. But just didn't know kind of how it was going to go. And it was a great, albeit short, which was good, a great ceremony. And you could see that Brittney was visibly moved. She was in tears at one point. And she was just looked so grateful, giving an appreciation to all the sections at the Foster Pavilion. And she got a great ovation, as well she should have, and definitely got that. So you'll see it now. Big gold banner right above center court, number 42, is there to be retired forever at the Foster Pavilion. All right, I'll get some of the weird things out of the way first. It was weird that we just didn't hear from Brittney at all. She didn't take the mic or anything like that. And her Phoenix Mercury teammates and members of that organization were there. They were sitting just right in front of me, courtside. And it was great that they were there, but like Brittney sat at the other end. She didn't like go and meet up with them until halftime. They kind of came to her. They weren't part of the ceremony at all. They didn't have any real part to play in this. We didn't know if any of her teammates were there because they didn't announce it. Her Baylor teammates. We did find out at halftime that Odyssey Sims was there because she was judging the dunk contest, but nothing for her to be a part of. She wasn't on any of the video tributes. It was just, I thought that was a little weird. I thought that would be something you would play up, to have some of her teammates back there. But overall, a great celebration of her career. Every media timeout, they had some sort of highlight, whether it was her first dunk or going to the Final Four in 2010 as a freshman, or the time she had more blocks than Georgetown had field goals in a NCAA tournament game, and then of course the national championship and all her accolades and all that. So that was really cool that they leaned into it the whole time. Nicki Collen had the great blazer on. I don't know if you could really see it on TV. I'm sure they highlighted it, but she had this gold blazer with Griner 42 on the back, and on the sleeve, it had all the accomplishments. Nicole Sheeran from Channel 6 put that on Twitter. I just saw that before recording this. So if you didn't see it, go and check that out. But it's got the National Player of the Year and the dunks and the points and her Team USA and all, and her record at Baylor, which was incredible. I think it's 135-15, just insane stuff. So she mentioned that it wasn't going to be a quarter zip. That was great look by Coach Nicki. And just overall a really cool day. If you were there at the pavilion, they had a layout for a photo op that was the 2012 national championship trophy, one of her Player of the Year trophies, and then kind of a mannequin with her uniform on it from her Baylor days. Very cool. The t-shirts were cool. They put them on every seat. Just a nice ceremony. And again, you could see how it moved Brittney to be back. She got a great ovation, as she should have. And the Lady Bears took care of business the way Brittney Griner would have. They just smothered Tech in this game, and Tech never got out of the hole. I thought they were going to keep the Red Raiders in single digits in the first half. It was 17-4 at the end of the first quarter. Baylor took their foot off the gas and was only up 27-13 at halftime, 13 points in the first half. And I think 5 of those came in the last minute and a half. So it was like a legit shot at it. And then they had a 4-point quarter that they gave up. Then in the third, they gave up only 5. And then, like I mentioned earlier, 14 in the fourth. They had a lot of their reserves in there. And Tech made it look a little bit better than it was, but 61-32. That's a pretty convincing win. And what was great for it, for me as the fan, and I get confirmed by it, I kind of thought it was going to be this way while I was watching the game, and then confirmed by the stat sheet, is that it was so well balanced. Their leading scorer was Sarah Andrews with 11 points. She was the leading scorer in the game. I'm just looking down the list. Everyone gets in on it except for Yaya Felder, which was a bit surprising because she's been great for them lately. 10 points from Little Page Bugs, 4 from Walker, 9 from Fauntleroy, 11 from Andrews, 6 from Blackwell, 2 from Fritz, 5 from Van Geitenbeek, just 8 from Dre Edwards, just all the way down the list. Everyone got in on it, but no one needed to pour in 20-25 points. So that was cool to watch. And it was because of effective ball movement, by the way. That was something that Baylor was really great at, doubled up Tech in assists. They had 18. And really, I mean, kind of like what we saw from West Virginia on the men's side on Saturday, which I'll talk about the men's game in the next segment. This is not a good Tech team. Not to take anything away from Baylor, but I think Tech needs to look in a different direction from what you've seen, from how successful your men's program can be, and for some of the teams that have been on the rise the last few years in the Big 12 and the women's game. I look at West Virginia and I look at Kansas State in those respects, and what TCU was certainly on the way towards before that injury bug hit them this year. Tech needs to be better than this. I mean, this was a bad team that really didn't have many options and were just throwing the ball all over the place. Baylor was plus 16 on the glass and committed 19 turnovers, Baylor did, and won that battle by 10. 29 turnovers in 40 minutes. How do you do that, man? Oof. That's really bad. They shot the same percentage from 3, and Baylor won by 30 points. And Baylor was plus 30 in the paint, 34-4. And we don't have the block shots numbers. Oh, we do. Sorry. Just 6 officially for Baylor. It felt like more than that. You could tell Brittney was going to get into that. Bella Fauntleroy specifically had a couple of blocks. She was fantastic. It was just tough sledding for Tech all day long. One last thing that was really great about it, they had a dunk contest at halftime, and they brought some students out there who, a couple of them completed their dunks. It was cool. And in between the two going in the finals, one of the guys, I was saying this to my buddy who I was there with, I was like, one of these guys needs to pull Brittney out here, make her a part of this, try to jump over her or something. And he did. It was her throwing passes off the backboard to him. He didn't get the dunk. And they were waiting for the second guy to go. And Brittney just takes the ball and just slams it home. And the place goes nuts. Just nuts. It was awesome. Our new in-game host there, who has been great. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. He went down there and sat next to him and was like, you didn't really need to do that. No one was asking for you to do that. But it was a great moment. She had the Letterman's jacket on and did it. That was kind of a cool way, a cool tribute to send her off. But great game for the Lady Bears. Needed to get back on track, and that was it. Obviously, the Big 12 conference championship's gone. But in order for this team to get some positive momentum and going into that Big 12 tournament, this was definitely a big step towards that.